একটু শেয়ার করলাম কিছু লোকের সঙ্গে। একবার কোকা মহারাজ কিছু নিবেদন করেছেন ঠাকুরকে, ঠাকুরকে নিবেদন করেছেন। সো ঠাকুর এসে বলছেন, দেখো তুমি শসা মানে কুকুম্বার দিয়েছো, ও একটু খেতে অসুবিধা হচ্ছে, মানে একটু লবণ দাও, একটু লবণ দিলে লবণ মানে আমি খেতে পারি বলে। মানে ঠাকুর কেমন সব জিনিসের মধ্যে পার্টিকুলার ছিল, মানে একটা সবসময় সমাধি থাকতো নিশ্চয়ই, কিন্তু কেয়ারলেস ছিল না স্পিরিচুয়াল মানে মান্ডেন অ্যাফেয়ার্স বলছি। অনেক সময় আমাদের ভক্তদের মধ্যে একটা মানে ভাব এসে যায়, আমরা স্পিরিচুয়াল হয়ে আসছি, সেই জন্য উইল বি নেগলেক্টিং আওয়ার ওয়ার্ক, নেগলেক্টিং আওয়ার হোম অ্যাফেয়ার্স, নেগলেক্টিং আওয়ার মানে ডে টু ডে থিংস এরকম। সো স্পিরিচুয়ালিটি মানে ইট ইজ নট নেগলেক্টিং দ্য আওয়ার ডিউটিস না, আমার ডিউটি গুলো নেগলেক্ট করা, না হলে আমাদের কাজকর্ম যে করি এগুলো নেগলেক্ট করার নাই, কিন্তু ট্রান্সেন্ড করা। ট্রান্সেন্ড করা বলতে গেলে ঠাকুরকে না গাড সেন্ট্রিক লাইফ বেসিক্যালি। আমরা কোনোভাবে একটা অ্যাটাচমেন্টের জন্য কাজ করছি, না হলে একটু আমরা কিছু অপেক্ষা করছি ছেলেদের সঙ্গে আর পতি স্ত্রী আর যে কোনো লোকের সঙ্গে আমরা কিছু অপেক্ষা করে স্টার্ট করছি, কাজগুলো করছি, ওটা আমরা স্পিরিচুয়ালাইজ করতে হবে। আমি ঠাকুরকে সন্তুষ্ট করার জন্য এসব করছি বলে, এটাই আমার স্পিরিচুয়াল লাইফ। সো converting every action into spiritual action is what spiritual life. So spiritual life মানে negligence নাই, indiscipline আর মানে erratic আর unprofessional, ugly, uncleanliness, all this এরকম নেই। অনেক সময় আমি যাই মন্দিরগুলো, মানে বিশেষ করে শিব ঠাকুরকে দেখলে খুব মানে বাজে লাগে, এমন একটু জল ছাড়া এগুলো তো নাংডা থাকে, এর মধ্যে শিব কিভাবে বসতে পারে এটা মানে হ্যাঁ, শিব তো সব জায়গাতে থাকবে নিশ্চয় বটে, কিন্তু এরকম নাংডা করে মানে কিভাবে পূজাগুলো হয় এটা আমাদের আলোচনা করি। সো দিস অল বিকজ অফ দ্য রং আইডিয়া অ্যাবাউট স্পিরিচুয়ালিটি। আরেকবার মানে একদিন বোধহয় 12টার আগে তো ঠাকুরের খাওয়া দাওয়া হয়ে যায়, ধরুন 11:30টার মধ্যে, 11:30টার সময় মোটামুটি। সো একদিন ওদিন একটু বিশেষ দিন ছিল বোধহয়। সো এখনো ঠাকুরের মানে ভোগের জন্য ঘন্টা দেয়। সে কোকা মহারাজ গেলেন, কোকা মহারাজ গিয়ে ও ভান্ডারীকে জিজ্ঞাসা করলেন, তুমি কেন এখনো ঘন্টা দেয়নি ঠাকুরের খাবার জন্য? বলেন, মহারাজ আজকে বিশেষ দিন আছে, আপনি তো জানেন, সেই জন্য রান্নাগুলো একটু হচ্ছে, সে একটু তাড়াতাড়ি মানে একটু অসুবিধা মানে দেরি হচ্ছে মহারাজ, সো একটু কিছু সময় আমরা ঘন্টা দিয়ে দেবো বলে, না 12টা হচ্ছে বলে। তো ও সময় কোকা মহারাজ বলেছেন, দেখো ঠাকুর 12টার আগে খেয়েছেন, সেই জন্য তোমরা মানে যে সময় মোটামুটি ঠাকুর খেতেন এ সময় তোমরা করে দাও, পরে কিছু বিশেষগুলো থাকলে পরবর্তী তোমরা নিবেদন করতে পারো বলে, মানে কোকা মহারাজ ঠাকুরের নিবেদন প্রতি বলেছেন। মানে ওদেরকে ঠাকুর কালী একটা বিগ্রহ ছিল না, আর কালী একটা যেমন মানে একটা মূর্তি, আর কালী একটা ভাবচিত্র মানে পোর্ট্রেট ছিল না, ঠাকুর ওয়াজ লিভিং গড ফর দেম। এটাই আমাদের একটা সাধনা, ওদের সিদ্ধি হয়ে গেছে, ওদের ইট হ্যাজ বিকাম এ ফ্যাক্ট ফর দ্য কোকা মহারাজ এন্ড আদার ডাইরেক্ট ডিসাইপলস আর গ্রেট স্বামীজ। সো আমাদের জন্য এটা সাধন, এটা যে প্রত্যেক দিন আমাদের বাড়িতে আমরা ঠাকুরের মা স্বামীজির ছবি তো রাখি, তো একটু ধূপ দীপ জ্বালাই আর একটু নিবেদন করি, ফল মিষ্টি আর কিছু না কিছু করি। সো অনেক সময় আমাদের মনে আসতে থাকে এই প্রশ্ন, ঠাকুর আছে নাকি এর মধ্যে? আমরা প্রত্যেক দিন একটু ফুল দিচ্ছি আর ধূপ দীপ দিচ্ছি আর নৈবেদ্য আমাদের মতো দিচ্ছি, ঠাকুর আছে নাকি? এরকম প্রশ্ন আসতেই পারে। সো এই গল্পগুলো মনে করলে, হ্যাঁ ঠাকুর তো মাকে বলেছেন, কোকা মহারাজকে বলেছেন, শিশি মহারাজকে বলেছেন, এরকম অনেক গল্পগুলো আছে। সেই জন্য যদি আমরা ভক্তি ভাবতে ঠাকুরকে যতটা পারি যথাসাধ্য একটু তুলসী দল দাও আর জল দাও আর একটু মিষ্টি দাও আর একটু ফল দাও আর একটু ড্রাই ফ্রুটস দাও, যখন একটা ভক্তি ভাবতে ভালোবাসতে যদি দিলে ঠাকুর নিশ্চয়ই আসবেন, আমাদের নিবেদন যে স্বীকার করবেন, আমাদেরকে কল্যাণ করবেন। এটা একটা আমরা ভাবতে হবে। আর একটা খুব ভালো গল্প, মানে একবার আত্মস্থানজি মহারাজ ছিলেন, পূজনীয় আত্মস্থানজি মহারাজ, জানি না ও প্রেসিডেন্ট মহারাজ হয়েছিলেন, প্রেসিডেন্ট না ভাইস প্রেসিডেন্ট জানি না, বোধহয় প্রেসিডেন্ট হয়েছিলেন। একবার মা ওকে স্বপ্নেতে এলেন, ও বললো, দেখো উদ্বোধনে আমার শাড়ি ছিঁড়ে গেছে, প্রেসিডেন্ট মহারাজকে মা কমপ্লেন্ট দিয়েছে। সো সঙ্গে সঙ্গে ফোন করা হলো উদ্বোধনে প্রেসিডেন্ট মহারাজকে ফোন করা হলো, দেখো তোমরা যে মাকে মানে শাড়ি পড়ানো হয়েছে ওর মধ্যে ছিঁড়ে গেছে, দেখো। মানে মহন্ত মহারাজ বলছে, না মহারাজ এরকম কখনো হয় না, মাকে এরকম মানে চিড়ানোর শাড়ি তো কখনো হয় না মহারাজ, না মহারাজ, না না প্রেস মহারাজ বলছেন দেখুন। তো তবু গেল, ওরা গিয়ে দেখলে একটা মানে পাহাড় উপরে মানে বার্ডারে একটা জায়গাতে ছিঁড়ে গেছে। ঠিক আছে বলেছে, আর ক্ষমা করে দিন, ক্ষমা প্রার্থী বলে আবার এটা করলেন, মানে চেঞ্জ করলেন, শাড়ি চেঞ্জ করা হলো। সো এটা একটা গল্প। কিন্তু মায়ের সময় ও কখনো একটা ভালো শাড়ি এরকম পড়ে গেছে বলে আমাদের কোনো উল্লেখ নেই। সবসময় ছেঁড়া শাড়ি, মানে সবসময় পুরানো শাড়ি এরকমই মা পড়তেন। তবু একটু অন্তত একটা ছিঁড়ে গেছে, তবু মা কমপ্লেন্ট করলেন কেন? মানে উদ্বোধন মহন্ত মহারাজ যেটা বলেছেন, আরে মা তো জীবনে কখনো ভালো শাড়ি পড়ায়নি, এখন কিন্তু একটা ছিঁড়ে গেছে, এটা আবার পূজনীয় প্রেজেন্ট মাঝকে কমপ্লেন্ট দিয়ে দিল, মা বলে। তো মজা করছিল আর কি, যে হোক। সো এসব দেখলে এখনো ঠাকুরমা স্বামীজি আছে, ওরা আমাদের পূজা, আমাদের সেবা, আমাদের ভালোবাসা সব নান ওরা বলে একটা শ্রদ্ধা বেশি পাই। আর যখন সেবা করি যতটা পারি, যথাসাধ্য আমরা ভালো করতে হবে, যতটা পারি যথাসাধ্য করলে আমাদের কল্যাণ হবে। ওর জন্য ঠাকুরকে ভালো হবে, মাকে ভালো হবে না, আমাদের কল্যাণ হবে, আমাদের ভালো হবে বলে। বাস কোকা মহারাজের জন্মদিন বলে একটু গল্প শোনালাম আর কি। আর আমার যে মানে বাচ্চা ছেলের বাংলার মধ্যে।
থ্যাংক ইউ, খুব মিষ্টি গল্প।
হুম,
বাচ্চা
ঠিক
ছেলের
আছে।
বাংলাটা আরও
হুম,
ভালো। So we are starting today. We will be discussing about the Pamban lecture from the book Lectures from Colombo to Almora. So shall I read?
yeah,
Okay. Reply to the address of welcome at Pamban. On the arrival of Swami Vivekananda at Pamban, he was met by His Highness the Raja of Ramnad, who accorded him a hearty welcome. Preparations had been made at the landing raft for a formal reception, and here, under a pandal which had been decorated with great taste, the following address on behalf of the Pamban people was read. May it please your Holiness, we greatly rejoice to welcome your Holiness with hearts full of deepest gratitude and highest veneration, gratitude for having so readily and graciously consented to pay us a flying visit in spite of the numerous calls on you, and veneration for the many noble and excellent qualities that you possess, and for the great work you have so nobly undertaken to do, and which you have been discharging with conspicuous ability, utmost zeal, and earnestness. We truly rejoice to see that the efforts of Your Holiness in sowing the seeds of Hindu philosophy in the cultured minds of the great Western nations are being crowned with so much success that we already see all around the bright and cheerful aspect of the bearing of excellent fruits in great abundance, and most humbly pray that Your Holiness will, during your sojourn in Aryavarta, be graciously pleased to exert yourself even a little more than you did in the West, to awaken the minds of your brethren in this our motherland for their dreary lifelong slumber, and make them recall to their minds the long forgotten gospel of truth. Our hearts are so full of the sincerest affection, greatest reverence, and highest admiration for Your Holiness, our great spiritual leader, that we verily find it impossible to adequately express our feelings, and therefore beg to conclude with an earnest and united prayer to the merciful Providence to bless Your Holiness with a long life of usefulness, and to grant you everything that may tend to bring about the long lost feelings of universal brotherhood. The Raja added to this a brief personal welcome, which was remarkable for its depth of feeling And then the Swami's reply was as follows. Our sacred motherland is a land of religion and philosophy, the birthplace of spiritual giants, the land of renunciation, where and where alone, from the most ancient to the most modern times, there has been the highest ideal of life open to man. I have been in the countries of the West, have traveled through many lands of many races, and each race and each nation appears to me to have a particular ideal, a prominent ideal running through its whole life, and this ideal is the backbone of the national life. Not politics, nor military power, not commercial supremacy, nor mechanical genius furnishes India with that backbone, but religion. And religion alone is all that we have and mean to have. Spirituality has been always in India. Great indeed are the manifestations of muscular power, and marvelous the manifestations of intellect expressing themselves through machines by the appliances of science. Yet none of these is more potent than the influence which spirit exerts upon the world. The history.
চন্দ্রানী
Chandrani,
একটু
you are
শোনা
mute.
যাচ্ছে না, মিউট হয়ে
Mute.
গেছে।
একটু শোনা যায়নি?
না,
শুধু
লাস্ট দুটো লাইন।
last দুটো লাইন
আচ্ছা। গ্রেট ইনডিড আর দ্য ম্যানিফেস্টেশনস অফ, এর আগে অবধি শোনা গেছে তো? আচ্ছা।
হ্যাঁ শোনা গেছে।
Great indeed are the manifestations of muscular power, and marvelous the manifestations of intellect expressing themselves through machines by the appliances of science. Yet none of these is more potent than the influence which spirit exerts upon the world. The history of our race shows that India has always been most active. Today, we are taught by men who ought to know better that the Hindu is mild and passive, and this has become a sort of proverb with the people of other lands. I discard the idea that India was ever passive. Nowhere has activity been more pronounced than in this blessed land of ours, and the great proof of this activity is that our most ancient and magnanimous race still lives, and at every decade in its glorious careers seems to take a fresh youth, undying and imperishable. This activity manifests here in religion, but it is a peculiar fact in human nature that it judges others according to its own standard of activity. Take, for instance, a shoemaker. He understands only shoemaking and thinks there is nothing in this life except the manufacturing of shoes. A bricklayer understands nothing but bricklaying and proves this alone in his life from day to day. And there is another reason which explains this. When the vibrations of light are very intense, we do not see them because we are so constituted that we cannot go beyond our own plane of vision. But the yogi, with his spiritual introspection, is able to see through the materialistic veil of the vulgar crowds. Shall I continue, Maharaj?
Continue.
Okay. The eyes of the whole world are now turned towards this land of India for spiritual food, and India has to provide it for all the races. Here alone is the best ideal for mankind, and Western scholars are now striving to understand this ideal, which is enshrined in our Sanskrit literature and philosophy, and which has been the characteristic of India all through the ages. Since the dawn of history, no missionary went out of India to propagate the Hindu doctrines and dogmas, but now a wonderful change is coming over us. Sri Bhagavan Krishna says, whenever virtue subsides and immorality prevails, then I come again and again to help the world. Religious researches disclose to us the fact that there is not a country possessing a good ethical code but has borrowed something of it from us, and there is not one religion possessing good ideas of the immortality of the soul but has derived it directly or indirectly from us. There never was a time in the world's history when there was so much robbery and high handedness and tyranny of the strong over the weak as at this latter end of the 19th century. Everybody should know that there is no salvation except through the conquering of desires, and that no man is free who is subject to the bondage of matter. These great truths all nations are slowly coming to understand and appreciate. As soon as the disciple is in a position to grasp this truth, the words of the Guru come to his help. The Lord sends help to his own children in his infinite mercy, which never ceaseth and is ever flowing in all creeds. Our Lord is the Lord of all religions. This idea belongs to India alone, and I challenge any one of you to find it in any other scripture of the world. We Hindus have now been placed under God's providence in a very critical and responsible position. The nations of the West are coming to us for spiritual help. A great moral obligation rests on the sons of India to fully equip themselves for the work of enlightening the world on the problems of human existence. One thing we may note, that whereas you will find that good and great men of other countries take pride in tracing back their descent to some robber baron who lived in a mountain fortress and emerged from time to time to plunder passing wayfarers, we Hindus, on the other hand, take pride in being the descendants of rishis and sages who lived on roots and fruits in mountains and caves, meditating on the Supreme. We may be degraded and degenerated now, but however degraded and degenerated we may be, we can become great if only we begin to work in right earnest on behalf of our religion. Accept my hearty thanks for the kind and cordial reception you have given me. It is impossible for me to express my gratitude to His Highness the Raja of Ramnad for his love towards me. If any good work has been done by me and through me, India owes much to this good man, for it was he who conceived the idea of my going to Chicago, and it was he who put that idea into my head and persistently urged me on to accomplish it. Standing beside me, he, with all his old enthusiasm, is still expecting me to do more and more work. I wish there were half a dozen more such Rajas to take interest in our dear motherland and work for her amelioration in the spiritual line.
পাঠ করবো?
হ্যাঁ।
जननीं शारदां देवीं Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukaswarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. Dear devotees, when you read the lectures from Colombo to Almora regarding the view or impression about our own religion, about Sanatana Dharma or Hinduism, and also about our country and culture, it completely changes. Unfortunately, I think it is only in India the Indian history has been written by the foreigners from their own experience or from their own eyes, and we are studying and we are quoting it. As a result, we have been victimized from their pseudo feelings or from their prejudiced views. Our textbooks, our history books mostly has been written and quoted, often quoted. Even so-called Indian authors also often quote from the foreign authors. Some of them have done really research work, magnanimous work, I don't say no, but many of them, when they try to portray or when they try to discuss, when they try to interpret our culture, definitely, however, he is good, but he will not be able to understand our culture completely. Say, for an example, how much ever I'm in Ireland, I understand Irish culture and etc. The way I understand and appreciate and express, and the Irish born person understanding and appreciating and expressing will be completely different. This is one of the biggest problem, biggest drawback of our country, which has got the rich cultural, spiritual history. And that's why Swami Vivekananda, that's why it says that he has said that Indian history has to be rewritten. Unfortunately, things have started, but really big work, big task has been given by Swamiji for all of us and all of us, but we have not yet started this huge task. And one more interesting point here is, because if you see till here, whatever the three lectures he gave, it was all in Sri Lanka. Of course, in the British India, it was part of it. Now, if you see, in the present India, he comes where Pamban, it is a Tamil Nadu near Rameshwaram. So when he steps on the India, so that is the day, January 26. January 26, Republic Day, we all know that we all celebrate. And January 26 is one more, unique day for all of us. So Swamiji's Padarpan Divas, we can say. Swamiji, he kept his foot after returning from the West in the India on January 26. Here things are that one more point is not mentioned. Wherever Swamiji was going to land and he was supposed to keep the feet, there was a big pillar or a big welcome pendal was erected by the Raja of Ramnad. And there is a pillar also. Pillar was erected. Apart from that, when Swamiji was supposed to keep his feet on the land, so Raja, he bent down, he kneeled down, and he said, "Please keep on me, please keep on my head, or please keep on my thighs, and you can get down." That was the respect, humbleness, and respect was showed by Raja Ramnath to Swamiji. Instead of keeping your feet on the land, please keep on my head or on my thighs. That was requested by Raja Ramnath. But here you see the magnanimity of Swamiji. Swamiji's disciple is, no doubt. And being a guru, keeping on the thigh or keeping on the head, even there is nothing wrong in that. And Raja Ramnath would have been considered blessed, and people would have also felt happy. But Swamiji said, no. Why? You are a Raja. You are a king. And Raja Pratyaksha Devata. That's what our scripture says. So I will not keep it. Sorry, he said, and he kept it. Again, the magnanimity of the Swamiji's heart and Swamiji's personality, we can feel here. We can understand here. If any one of us with that Raja himself has come to welcome and he himself is asking to keep food, we would have felt very happy and would have kept and we would have shown. You see, who am I? Raja has understood like that. We will pat our backs. But the humbleness of Swamiji is no, because you are a Raja and Raja is considered as God. And in front of your own people, I don't want to do all these things. And how Swamiji was worshipped or Swamiji was respected in the 3 paragraphs, we can see. You very well you can understand. I did not to go to the details. Now I will be going to the Swamiji's address. I don't know how many of you are very interested and going in a very deep studies and analytical study and all. In your probably 3 or 4 paros, I would like to just uh, make a mention how you have to study. Especially from the lectures from Colombo to Almora point of view, I am telling you. Now this first para, our sacred motherland is a land of religion and philosophy, the birthplace of spiritual giants, the land of renunciation, where and where alone from the most ancient to the most modern times, there has been the highest ideal of life open to man. So when this is called analytical reading, which I'm going to show you. So this one para, when you read, we have to condense in it. So what is the Swamiji's idea in this paragraph, if you say? So India is the land of religion, spirituality, and the renunciation. Now, whoever wants to make a notes and whoever wants to make a deep studies, this whole para can be condensed into one line. According to Swamiji, India is the land of religion, spirituality, and the renunciation. So this type of study, when you start doing it, what happens? Your study gets intensified. There is called active reading and there is called passive reading. Passive reading is what? Just from page 1 to page end, we keep on reading it. Then we say, Amra lecture from Colombo to Almora Padechi. We have finished lecture from Colombo to Almora. We have finished lectures from Colombo to Almora, we say that. Now, that is what passive reading. And some things we get inspired, and temporarily at that moment we get some inspiration, motivations, and we get some understandings, and slowly some things gets faded away and few things left our mind. But when we do this active reading, then it will say much upon our life, on our understanding, and we'll be able to remember few points which will be able to connect. Now, if I ask, the same idea has been given very beautifully by Swamiji in this first lecture. You can actually correlate that. If I ask how many of you remember that, then many of us, we scratch our heads. Whatever the Swamiji has told this, the same thing in his first lecture, he has given that in the Colombo. Now, when you make this analytical study, you will be able to correlate. And one more interesting point is, Swamiji has made a mention of one point or one idea. Elsewhere in some other lecture, he gives a description for that. He gives an explanation for that. He gives a commentary for that. That's how we can understand Swamiji's ideas much more better way. So this is just 2-3 probably paragraphs I will do. And afterwards, if you're interested, you can make out, or if you want me to look, then we will see. Now, the second one is, I have been in the countries of the West, have traveled through many lands of many races. And each race and each nation appears to me to have a particular ideal, a prominent ideal running through its own life. And this ideal is the backbone of the national life. Not politics, nor military power, not commercial supremacy, nor mechanical genius furnishes India with that backbone, but religion. And religion alone is all that we have and mean to have. Spirituality has been always in India. This whole paragraph can be rewritten in a gist form is what? Every nation has got a nerve center or has got a backbone. Every country has a backbone for which it is existing. And what is the backbone of the India? It is religion or spirituality. Here, religion means it is dharma. Why? Because religion means it is do's and don'ts or customs and practice, we think. So not in that, in the narrow sense, Swamiji is using the word called religion. Religion means it is spirituality. So spirituality is the backbone of India. So every country has its own backbone, and spirituality is the backbone of India. And for this, what is the backbone of America? What is the backbone of UK? All these things, again, Swamiji has told in one of the lecture in Colombo to Almora, in the beginning itself. Now, when you study deep, when you make these deep studies, you'll be able to correlate and you will get more better idea of Swamiji's views, either on religion or on the culture or on the India or on the spirituality and etc. Now, one more interesting point. Great indeed are the manifestations of muscular power, and marvelous the manifestations of intellect, expressing themselves through machines by the appliances of science. Yet, none of these is more potent than the influence which spirit exerts upon the world. Now, nowadays, I don't know whether you have heard of South India, this word has become very famous. India is being called as Vishwaguru. And it is our duty now to make the India again as Vishwaguru. Means the teacher of the world, basically. Vishwaguru, you understand, Vishwaguru. Now, how can we understand how India can become the Vishwaguru? Because some are good at technology, some are good at economy, some are good at military, some are good at research. All of us, we have all of these things we have got, but we are not superseding them. Then how can India become Vishwaguru? Swamiji is giving very clear. Muscular power is very good, no doubt, and intellect power is much more higher, and the finest is spiritual power. And India is what? Is for spiritual power. That's how India can become Vishwaguru. India can train the people. India can guide the whole world. How? From the spiritual point of view, Swamiji has told. So that doesn't mean that we have to neglect, because many people say that, oh, because we have got a Vedanta, and especially Advaita Vedanta was the Naru center of the India, or Advaita Vedanta, it spread so much. Because of that, India didn't prosper economically, you can say, in science, you can say, technology, you can say, like that. People make criticisms. No, but it is a wrong understanding. When I'm Advaita Vedanta, Brahma Satya, Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaiva Napara, when I'm understanding, when I'm putting into practice, that doesn't mean that I have to neglect the world, neglect the prosperity, economical prosperity or social prosperity. That was never our idea. That was never taught by our prophets or incarnations. When you say Jagan Mithya, that means what? My understanding about the world is what wrong. I'll give a simple, crude example to make it, because that's a very important and very subtle concept. It takes some time. When we are children, two toys were brought. One is white colored toy, the other is pink colored toy. Myself and my sister were there, and these two toys were brought. I said, I want pink color toy because I like pink color, so I want pink color toy. Then my sister also said, no, I also like pink color, I want pink color toy. Then quarrel started, fighting started, crying started, all that. Then parents, either mother or father, granny, grandma, or some elders basically, Arey, what is that? Both are made up of same material. Both are looks similar, same. Only color is different. Why do you bother? Why do you break your heads? Either white color tie or a pink color tie. Tie is a tie just for playing. Why do you boggle your head? So just take one pink and one white. No, both of us, we start crying, and people say, and family members say, hey, you are an elder brother, you are an elder person, can't you adjust and can't you give the pink color tie for your younger sister? Then I will say, oh, all the time you will say like this only, you favor for sister and all. And if they say to the sister, Arey, elder brother is asking, why don't you give every time you demand like this? And she will start crying, you do favor for always brother only. All these things we have experienced. And we have done probably. Now, 25, 30 or 40 years over, similar incident, again, it re-happened in our home. Maybe our own kith and kin, our own brother, our own relative, someone is doing. And we are observing that, and we are seeing that. And we will laugh at that. Why? Because 20, 30, 40 years before, we did same. But now, there is no change in the toy, but there is a change in my understanding about the importance and about the reality of the toy. What does it mean? That is called Satyatva Buddhi, Sanskrit in technical. Satyatva Buddhi means the toy is the alpha and omega of the life. The toy is so real for me when I was a child. Now, toy isn't just a toy, just it is used for play, or it is used to keep in a showcase or whatever. My importance has been shifted from toy to something else. So that Satyatva Buddhi, the notion of the reality has changed, shifted from toy to somewhere else. So that's how the world is appearing as a matter, the world is being perceived somewhere, and it is so real for us. And that reality has to be shifted from matter to the spirit. From that aspect, they are saying that mithya. Anyhow, this is one aspect or one understanding about the mithya. Now, when it is shifted, it changes. So, how the spirit can change the world? It is very important point. When you are spiritually, what you say, inclined, when you are spiritually progressed, all your things can be very well progressed, very well arranged, very well synchronized. You can be more and more responsible. As like Raja Maharaj says, give 75% of your mind to the God and 25% to the world. That is more than enough to rule the kingdom. To rule the kingdom, 25% of our mind is enough, he's saying, and just to run one family, we give 100% and we feel 100 or 90% or 80%, we feel it is not enough. Then where is the problem? Did Raja Maharaj did he mention or did he tell something wrong? No. Oh, he's a Raja Maharaj, he's a Manasaputra, he's the spiritual son of Sri Ramakrishna. It is all possible for him. For them, not possible for us. That's how we brush aside. So we have not concentrated. We have not manifesting our power properly. We have not been regularized, tamed our mind properly. My Gurudev used to tell always, Winston Churchill, Albert Einstein, I, you, Thomas Alva Edison, whomever. So all of us, we have got 24 hours, but our output is different from person to person. Why? Because training the mind. If you train your mind, you can get so many things. You can do so many things. So that's where the spirit is what the spirituality is very important. When you're becoming more and more spiritual means what? You are very regulated. You are tamed your mind. Your emotions, your attitude, your understandings has been regularized. It has been crystallized. It has been clear. And in other way, in the crude language, if you want me to say, cobwebs. Cobwebs has been reduced from your cobwebs, what do you say in Bangla?
Makushajal.
So that has to be cleared. The more and more you clear, then more and more clarity comes in your thinking and in your understanding. Because of that, life quality, work quality, everything becomes better. So that's what spirituality, and that is the nerve center of the India. And India stood always for this. Now again, for this, I don't know, you had this question or not. These so many questions I had in my mind when I was young and when I was studying Swamiji and all. I had a big question for a good long time. I had a lot of discussions with people that during the Middle Ages, say 10 to 19, 20th century, 19th centuries or 20th century, we got galaxy of saints. Either in East India, you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda, Nimai, and like Ram Prasad. So many saints, so many great personalities came. Then if you see North, again there Kabir Das, Tulsi Das, so many people came. And Maharashtra is full of saints. And South India, if you see Nine Mas, Nammalvars, and Dasasai Parampara, Shiva Sharana, like the galaxy of saints came. And in the western part of India, if you see Mirabai starting from there, also galaxy of saints came. So India was with full of so much saints, and India suffered from the foreign invasions. And our temples were shattered, and our people were, ladies were raped, and our people were converted forcefully into other religion. Many were killed, many got killed, or whatever. What these prophets were doing then? What these saints were doing then? This was a big question for me. I had a discussion, I had a debate with many people. After a good amount of study and discussions and all, finally I found out is what? Because they were there, and somehow they created a shock absorber. Because they were there in spite of these foreign invasions, in spite of so many treacherous things India had to undergo, so many problems had to undergo. In spite of that, we were able to retain our culture, retain our religion, retain our scriptures. Why? Because of these people, because of this galaxy of saints came and they protected our Mother India, or our culture, our religion, especially our spirituality. So how the history can be understood by Swamiji's each statement, I must say. People can mark, even people did ask, on the lighter side, of course, it happened, this conversation. Swamiji was asked by a Westerner, Swami, you say that your country is full of spirituality and philosophy or whatever, and we got only one prophet or incarnation, prophet, whatever, Christ. And that is enough for us. And you say you are very spiritual, your country is very spiritual, and so time and again there are incarnations have come. That means so fast, so quick, you used to go bad, you used to leave away spirituality, then God has to come in the form of prophet or incarnation to put you on the right track. You see, if someone asks, what will be the answer? Oh, I mean, it will be very difficult for us sometimes. For these two answers can be given. Swamiji on the lighter side, he told, you see, only God came once, God or God's son, but you crucified him. That's why, God or God's son fears to come to you. But whereas when the God comes in our country, we worship him. We wash his feet, we take him on our head, and we make all, with all great pomp and show, respect we show. That's why God likes to come to our country. Anyway, it was on the lighter side, he said. And that fellow had to keep quiet. This is one story. The other is Bhagavatam gives a very beautiful explanation there. The conversations between the demigods, devatas, there, whoever takes birth in India, they're really blessed people. Why? Because it is the last birth or blessed people they take birth. Why? Because they are forced to listen to the Harinama. Here, Harinama means God name you can take. It is only symbolical. Then Shivanama, if you are hearing, then what about Shivanama? Yes. So it is basically God's name. So how Swamiji's one statement can be linked to Bhagavata, can be linked to history, that's what I'm saying. Now, you may say, Swamiji, when we read, we don't feel so much. From where did you get all these things? It is only feeling and trying to read and trying to understand or trying to study. And that's what I mean saying. Analytical study is what important. That's where I want to give quality time. And before giving a quality of time, before myself getting prepared or ready, I don't, agree for classes. Why? I want to do justice. Anyway. So Swamiji is telling, muscular power manifestation is great, no doubt. The greater is intellect power manifestation. The greatest is what? Spiritual power. How India was great. Why India is great is called by our prophets, because this spirituality was always manifested. But again, that doesn't mean that we should neglect the muscular power or intellect power. That was not the case. Because most of the rishis, they gave maths, they gave zero, they gave science, and they were all well aware of the metallurgy, they were well aware of Astra Shastras. If you know, Rama, Krishna, all these people were taught by the Rishis, Vasishta, Valmiki and all. They were good at even weaponaries. Forget about science, art and all. Even they were good at music. They were good at poetry. They were good at even weapons, Astra and Shastra. Astra and Shastra is what? Shastra means just weapons. Astra means weapons with a mantras actually. So Shastras are weapons. Anyone can get it. But Astras you cannot get until either it should be given by a Rishi, or it should be given from God, or basically or from any demigod or from Devatas or whatever. So from tapas, from great austerities or tapas or grace only you get Astras. Anyway. Now, the history of our race shows that India has always been most active. This is one more important point we have to see. Because why? Our history textbook says that how we lost the war with the Mughals, with the Khiljis, with the Ghazni, with the Gori, or with the Alexander, or with the British, French, Portuguese. That's how, unfortunately, our Indian textbooks, they tell how we lost the war, they tell, and how we fought for our survival, and how many wars we won, they never tell. Because most of our education ministers in the central government, hardly except 2 or 3, most of the education ministers were from Muslims. I'm not speaking against of any religion, but this how very planfully our history textbooks or our education system was spoiled. Now Swamiji is telling very clearly, India has always been most active. So we are all lazy people. Indians were lazy. That's why we didn't grow, we didn't progress. Whereas West is always active. Westerners are active. Western civilization is always forward thinking or whatever. This type of comments we might have made, and we might be hearing from few other people. Now, Swamiji is telling very clearly that is not true. That is not right. That is not factual. Hindus are mild and passive, no doubt, but that doesn't mean that they were lazy and they were inactive. Rather, They were good-natured people and they were trying to accommodate. Accommodating nature is very good with Indians. So that accommodating nature has been misconstrued as a passiveness. Now, there can be few people, or in some point of time, a good amount of people can be lazy. A civilization can be lazy for good amount of time. That can be there in the part of civilization, in every civilization, but that cannot be generalized. And India was very passive, ever passive. I discard the idea. So I'm just telling. So this we have to write very clearly. This should be printed in our mind. India has always been most active. And I discard the idea that India was ever passive. India was ever passive. Most of the time it was passive. Sometime only it was active. If you say Swamiji is discarding it. So we should also remove this negative idea from our mind. Now the question may come for all of us, if so, Swamiji, then how to understand this? Swamiji himself gives this beautiful explanation in elsewhere in one of the lecture. He says that he tells where even the so-called, because then British India it was, the Britishers, when they were living on the trees, using the bark and the leaves to cover their bodies, we were discussing about the advanced philosophies in our country. If our forefathers were passive, these things were not, it would not have happened. Even today, 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3 to 9, it is called Arab numerals. But actually, it is not Arab numerals. It is from India, because Arab had a business link, and they used to come because in the first, second century, Arabs came and they had a business, and Arab settlements in Kerala especially, and Arabs marrying Keralians, Keralians marrying Arabs can be seen very clearly in the history in the first, even second century itself. So Arabs, when because for business and other transactions they used to come, they got understood our numerical system, and they took to their country. And Europe got connected. With the Arab, and from Arab the Europeans got, and that's why the Europeans branded 0 to 9 or whatever numbers we use as Arab numericals. Actually, it is from India. Einstein elsewhere he says, we owe to the India. Why? Because they found out 0 and infinity. Without that, we would not have progressed much in science and maths, especially in science. And we have got Shaulava Shastras and science and metallurgy and Garbhopanishad. Imagine, Upanishad, it speaks of Garbhopanishad among 108. How the fetus for an embryo for 9 months, how it grows has been clearly told. There was no microscope in those days, we think. Then how this 9 months, how this embryo or fetus has been grown, how it has been told. And today, for an example, Drona Acharya means teacher. Drona means what? It is just Donne. Donne means, probably, I don't know whether it is there in northern India. Southern India we have got. It is a leaf. Leaf has been folded into a particular shape like this, probably. There, in the temples they distribute prasads. So Donne is like a leaf has been stitched in a particular, like a bowl form or a cup form, basically. That is called Don. So that means Drona was a test tube baby. Pandavas are test tube babies again. Because, Gandhari, Kunti and Gandhari, both were pregnant, and Gandhari was expecting the baby first. So whoever born first, then they will be the prince. We are crown prince, we all know that. But unfortunately, Gandhari time was delayed, and Kunti gave a birth to Dharmaraya or Yudhishthira. When she heard that, Gandhari was very unhappy, because now Kunti has given Kunti gave birth to first son, then he may be the crown prince. Because of that pain, because of that sorrow, as a mother sorrow, she pressed her womb, or she pressed her stomach. As a result, she, in the present day, if you want me to say, it was nothing but abortion. So it came out just like as a lump of flesh. Then Vedavyasa came, and he teared into 101 pieces, and he put into the 101 parts, and he added some liquid or whatever. Then 100 people came. This all Kauravas are nothing but test tube babies. And in the Ramayana, if you see, Dasharatha, when he passed away, we all know that Rama and Lakshmana had left to forest, and Bharata and Shatrughna had been to their maternal grandmother's home, which is nothing but today present Afghanistan. Now, where is Ayodhya? Where is Afghanistan? So to come, to go and inform and to bring back, it took 7 to 9 days. And 7 to 9 days, Dasharatha's body was immersed in the oil and with the medications so that his body was intact. No, I can give this so many examples. I keep on giving it. Why I'm giving all these examples, even in the science or art or sculpture, Shilpa Vidya, sculptures, and in the philosophy, in all the subjects, we were good. Now, obvious question should come for all of you. If I would have been in your case, definitely I would have got a question. If so, Swamiji, then why we didn't, where did we go lag? Or where did we lag behind? Where did we go behind? When the Muslim invasion started, and especially Mughals started ruling us, what happened? So protecting our culture, protecting our religion, protecting our temples, and protecting our ladies, that became a big challenge. Because forceful conversions were there, temples used to be get destroyed, and our ladies were taken and raped or put them into their harem, all these things. So people got more and more, concentrating on their survival as a result. So when you go to survival mode, what happens? When you are busy in just to take care of your bread and butter, you don't think of art, you don't think of science, you don't think of technology, you don't think of some higher values and all. That's what it happened, first point. And second is, because of that, and slowly, because of invasions, and especially Mughals and all, they used to burn the entire villages. During the wars, when they used to go, they used to plunder, they used to take away the money, rob the money, rob the, the grains, whatever is available they take, and sometimes they used to rape the people, women and all, and they used to burn the entire villages. Because of that, many communities who were the custodians of this our Indian wisdom, Vedic wisdom or anything, many schools, schools we got lost. Say for an example, Rigveda, Yajurveda. Yajurveda, we have got 7 or 8 schools now. Actually, Yajurveda had a most, maybe 100 or 200 schools of Yajurveda. Means small, different different interpretations, different few interpolations in the mantras and all. Now only few are there. All of them got destroyed or extinct. Why? Because of this continuous war. And apart from that, our Indian education system went away. Gurukula education system went away because of the Western education system, Macaulay education system came in. So our education system went away. Our Sanskrit went into backstep. Then what happened? All our wisdom, mostly it was in Sanskrit, and we don't learn Sanskrit. And all our scriptures are in like eaten by worms now in the museums because they were written on the palm leaf. That's what I used to say. So that's then, if we were so advanced, then why did we lag behind? Because one is continuous invasions. To survival, our people were bothered about the survival. Apart from that, our education system went vain, and our main language, Sanskrit, was neglected because for the own reasons, and because of that, all our wisdom has gone into the vain, or has gone into the corner, or into the backsteps. And Swamiji tells very clearly, one more, he is giving himself his activity. What is the great proof that Indians are ever active and they were never passive is what? That our most ancient and magnanimous race still lives. India is active, India is ever active and was never passive. How to understand that? Swamiji made a statement, argument. Or he made a statement, and for that himself is giving a proof that the activity is that our most ancient and magnanimous race still lives. Say 10,000 years or 5,000 years or 15,000, 25,000 years before Rigveda mantra. Agnimele purohitam yagnasya devamritvijam hotaram ratnadatamam. The first mantra, whoever studied Rigveda 25,000 years or 10, 15,000 years before they studied, even today, whoever studies Rigveda, they study the same mantra. That means so much we have been able to protect. Whereas in the Iran, I keep on saying that Zoroastrianism, that is Parsis, Jamshedji Tata and all, they belong to that Parsi religion, and that Persian and Iran is same thing, and Zoroastrianism was thriving there. And once the advent of Muslim Islam, and when they started spreading, just in 10 years, the whole Persian country got into their hands and they got converted to Islam. Very few people came to India, Pakistan, present Pakistan, Afghanistan, or whatever. So around now, only 30,000 people are left out among the Parsis, Zoroastrians. You see, just 10 years, it was enough for them to completely wipe out. And same thing you can see with the Istanbul. Istanbul is nothing but the Constantinople. Constantinople was one of the hard place for the Christianity. And in the medieval time, it became completely Islamized. Now 10, 15, 20 years was enough for one country to completely wipe out their original religion and to convert them either into Islam or Christianity. But whereas 5 to 6 centuries we were ruled by Muslims and 3, 4 centuries we were ruled by Christians, and still we are there to a certain extent, to the larger extent. Why? Because we were intact and we were active, and our forefathers, they fought for our country. That's what Swamiji says. Shastra and Shastra both are required. Brahma Tejas and Kshatra Birja. Brahma Tejas is what? That spirituality, studying the Veda, studying the philosophy, Advaita Vedanta, and putting into practice. That's Brahma Teja. And Kshatra Virya, militant spirit. Both should be going hand in hand to protect the country. And Swamiji is telling that it seems that at every decade in its glorious career seems to take on fresh youth, undying and imperishable. Many times we get a question, what will happen to India? Now Swamiji is telling, it looks like that Indian civilization is undying and imperishable. This activity manifests here in religion. So people try to, destroy our religion, but they are not able to do for larger extent. Some portion we lose because we have lost Afghanistan, we have lost Pakistan, we lost Nepal and Tibet and Burma and Philippines. So much so that Burma was Brahmadesha actually. Singapore is Simhapura actually. So all these places we lost, no doubt. A good amount of place we have lost, but still we are surviving. So that doesn't mean that whoever does whatever they do, still our religion doesn't die, our India will not happen anything. So I'm just said no. We have to fight for it, no doubt. But it doesn't mean that it is that easy to destroy the Hinduism completely. It is not possible. That's what Swamiji is telling very clearly in this para. And Swamiji is telling one more. It is a peculiar fact in human nature that it judges others according to its own standard of activity. So people are judging from their own eyes. He gives the example of shoemaker and bricklayer. Shoemaker always thinks that shoemaker is the best and that is the difficult, and whereas other works are lesser importance. So similarly, Westerners are trying to understand the Indian culture, Indian religion from their own point, and they are giving a certificate, or they're trying to tell this is right or this is wrong or whatever. That is not the case. So we have to understand our culture, our religion from our own point of view. We can compare, no doubt. We can understand good points from them, and we can, implement in all that. But we should not understand our religion from their spectacles, in their putting in their shoes. That's what Swami says. Yeah. Now I think time is done. Though it is a small talk, I thought I'll finish it, but it didn't happen. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu. So do you think that this analytical study example I gave, it was helpful for you, or you need, or it becomes too depth for you? Because sometimes people may not like too much detail, too much depth.
আমাদের এইটাই ভালো লাগছে, শুধু রিডিং আমরা নিজেরাই করে নি মহারাজ। যেটা বলছেন টেক্সট বুক পড়া, ওটা তো আমরা ক্লাসে গড়গড় করে পড়ি, কিন্তু এই যেভাবে আপনি বলছেন,
দরকার মহারাজ,
হ্যাঁ, এটা আমরা তো মানে ভাবতেই পারি না এই দৃষ্টিকোণ থেকে পড়া, এটা আমাদের কাছে অসম্ভব বড় পাওয়া।
অসম্ভব নেই, খালি পড়তে হবে, আলোচনা করতে হবে। You have to read, keep on reading, and you have to think that.
দেখেছেন, আমি একা বলছি না, তাহলে উই নট আই।
আমি ভাবছিলাম একটা ছোট লেকচার আছে, আধা ঘন্টার মধ্যে হয়ে যাবে, কি করব বলে ভাবছিলাম, কিন্তু দেখলাম আধা লেকচার।
তাহলে আমরা নেক্সট দিন এই লেকচারটাই কন্টিনিউ করব তো?
হ্যাঁ, নিশ্চয়ই, শেষ হয়নি তো।
হ্যাঁ, তো এবার নেক্সট দিনটা কবে সেটা বলুন।
নেক্সট কবে আছে দেখি। নভেম্বর 20th ফ্রি আছে, 20th না 27th, দুটোই ঠিক আছে, আপনাকে যা সুবিধা আছে বলুন। আচ্ছা
27
20 হবে না,
হ্যাঁ
20
20 হবে
27th হবে তবে।
27th হবে তো,
ঠিক আছে।
নেক্সট টু নেক্সট সবাইকার হবে তো।
হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে।
ঠিক আছে 27th।
হুম, হুম।